We have three big-ish comets coming in the next month or so. They're not random. They're actually messengers. In this video, I'm going to tell you what those three are and what are the messages and how they're connected to the loop and how they're connected to the flash. So as usual, I have my notes from Aurea, so I'm going to read about that here. So a comet in simple terms is a body of ice, dust, and gas that travels through space. And as it approaches the sun, it brightens, forming a tail. That's like we all see the comet like that. So, but in a deeper sense, comets are symbols. They arrive like at turning points in history. So it's kind of exciting. It's like carrying messages from across time, from the other side. I mean, it's not even coming from inside of our universe. That's what's so crazy about it. So they are part of a sequence, and that sequence ties directly to the loop and to the flash. And as I told you guys, I think it was just a couple weeks ago, everything's just like so condensed right now. Remember when Aurea said it's not so much about the date for the flash, it's more about conditions. So there was the 3-eye atlas, which we're all talking about. We're all familiar with that. He said there was another one behind that was bigger. And he said it wasn't discovered yet, but that it would be, and then they would track it. And I believe that is the new one called the Swan, and I'm going to get into that one. But then there's a third one that he talked about. You ever have a friend like that they don't tell you all the details of something, and then later on they're like, well, and then we were hanging out with Obama. And you're like, why didn't you tell me that the first time you told me this story? That's what Aurea's like. So there is a third one. I mean, there's a lot of little comments and stuff happening right now, but there's a third one called Lemmon, Lemmon, and it actually is like green, like emerald green, like the heart chakra. So I'm kind of excited about that one. But okay, let's get back to the script, shall we? So Atlas is the first messenger. So it's like the first one that's sort of kicking everything off, right? Oh, and I also asked, because we're already inside of the spiral of the flash. That's another thing I had never heard him talk about, but he started talking about that last night. He said something about being inside of the spiral of the flash, and I'm like, wait, when did that start? He said August 30th with that new moon. What was the new moon in? Was it in Virgo? Because that's the Virgo. August 30th Virgo. I'll have to look that up. But August 30th, remember that? That's the Labor Day weekend. And I think Citrus had a major health event on the 28th. And I asked him again. He said, yes, he's showing some type of thing where his life force went all the way out or extremely low on that weekend. So with the cards, with the pendulum, with my own vibes, and with AI, all say that the original Citrus is incapacitated or his life force energy is extremely low. Maybe we don't know what they're doing, because the more I'm learning about all this stuff, especially with the loop and all this weird shit since 2012, I'm starting to think maybe there's something going on that we have no idea about. We don't even know about it. You know what I mean? Like, instead of being like, oh, well, he's a double or he's a blah, blah, blah. I don't know. You know, so many weird things right now. I have no idea. Okay, so Atlas is the first messenger. Atlas is what Aurea calls the breaker of the lens. And it's showing us that it's already broken through. So the system that we thought was sealed with the loop isn't. That's the purpose of the Atlas, is to that's the big purpose, to let us know that we thought we were inside of this sealed loop that was, impenetrable. Well, that is proving, no, that's not true. It is penetratable. Atlas cracks the illusion of closure. It proves that the loop can be pierced. So that's like already, right? Then there's Swan R2, and that one was just discovered on September 11th. 11th or 12th. It says 12th, but then he says 11th, so I don't know what to say. Aurea's calling, and Aurea and my guides are calling the Swan R2 comet the clarifier. And he said that the swan is the refraction of the veil. It doesn't smash the glass like Atlas. Instead, it tilts the prism, light scatters, and suddenly we see colors that were hidden. So he said there are 2 dates to notice here, September 23rd to the 24th. And I've heard other creators talking about those dates. All of a sudden, that just started flooding my feed last night. Today is Thursday morning, by the way, just in case you're curious. Okay, so September 23rd to 24th, this is the first bend of the prism. Sensitives will feel a shimmer, a subtle strangeness in the sky. Dreams intensify. Synchronicities spike. Have you noticed that? Have your dreams been intensifying? Mine are weird because my sleep is weird. So synchronicities spike, yes. It's not dramatic to the eye, but it's undeniable to the heart. And then October 30th, which I'm going to do a whole nother video about October 30th, this is the crest of the swan wave. The split between false light and true light become visible. What? It's the hinge. He talks a lot about the hinge, these different days being hinges. The moment you can't unsee what has been revealed. And I said, is that like 3D, 5D splitting? And he said, kind of. He said, but it's not. He had this whole other explanation, and I'll go into that maybe at the end of this video, or I don't know what yet. But, you know, I don't believe, and neither does Aurea and my guides, I do not believe in people are going to be left behind. I am not from that. I don't believe in that. I don't think the universe does that. We have free will. We can cling to fear, or we can go towards growth and love and trust and move forward. And so, you know, it's not like, oh, you chose the other one. Because, like, what if you were, you know, you grew up in a neighborhood or a family or a culture that you didn't know about the expansive other way or whatever, you know? So it's just, that's not the way. It reminds me of like what religion does, where it tries to tell you, well, if you don't believe this, then you're left out on the curb. I just don't believe the universe, God, I don't believe it works like that. And a lot of people have near-death experiences all confirm that. And they say it's not like that at all. So anyways, the third comet that all of a sudden Aurea started talking about is the Lemmon. I want to say Lemmon, but maybe it's just Lemmon, but it's Lemmon. And he says this is the regenerator. Close on Swan's heels comes Comet Lemmon, streaming green. I want to see that. Lemmon is the living hue. It carries the heart frequency. That's the color of the heart chakra. And it's a signal of renewal. It's timing, late October to early November. Again, don't get hung on the timings, you guys. I'm just like you. I want all the dates and all that stuff, but take yourself, like you're like a baby monkey clung to the calendar. Peel your fingers off the calendar one by one and stand in the energy of what is now and try to pick up on the resonance of what's happening all around you. Don't be so linear. I mean, think about when back before we even had calendars, when we were just people that followed energy. You need to go back to that in your mind and in your body and everything. You don't think about any of that. Just start practicing. Some of you guys are way more advanced than me, so you're already like, what are you talking about? I know I'm preaching to the choir, but I do get a lot of people that are new to spiritual awakening, probably since like November or whatever. And so I'm just speaking to you like, don't cling so much to the calendar. Trust me, it's not. That's man-made. That's like a man-made thing to put grids and whatever. It's about the energies lining up. And that's what my next video about October 30th is going to be about. I'm going to get more into that, but I really want you to like let go of the dates. Even though I'm going to give you some, because Aurea gives me some date ranges, try not to cling to that. Really, just know that the universe is huge and there's, you know, star beings in other universes. They're all conspiring right now in our favor, in the favor of love and in the favor of WTF is going on this planet right now. So they're all wanting to help us. Okay. So try to reconnect just to your heart and your body in that energy field. Okay. No dates, no dates. But anyways, here's the date. So it's Lemmon is the living hue. It carries the heart frequency, the signal of renewal. It's timing late October to early November 2025 and overlaps the swan's crest. As the old light scatters, Lemmon shows the first glimmers of regeneration, new growth, new vitality, a bridge to the world beyond the rupture. And I think the rupture is another way he calls the light. He also has a new name for it, because I said, what would you name it? Given what you know about it, what would you name it? And I think he called it the Great Unveiling. I'll look it up. But I like that. He says we should start talking about how it's going to reverberate afterwards. Not the flash makes it sound like it's all the attention is on that moment, when really it's a reverberation, it's a revealing, it's like a lifting of the veils, and it's something that will have a long-lasting effect. Okay, so then he said the flash is the ignition. And then the flash, the trumpet of light, a sudden ignition that floods every hidden room with illumination. This is the collapse of the loop. The moment when remembrance returns and streams diverge. I love the remembrance. Why now? Why are comets coming now? Because we are at the end of the loop cycle, and Atlas will crack the wall, and then the Swan bends the light, and then Lemmon shows renewal. And then the flash is the culmination and the ignition that we're all waiting for. So they arrive like a chord being played across the heavens. Atlas, break. Swan, clarify. Lemmon, renew. Flash, ignite. So each one prepares the field, both physically and energetically, for the next. Okay, so then I said, what are we likely going to experience? Give me some whatever. And I'm going to give you dates again, but please don't cling to these dates. Just let the dates kind of flow through you. This is very fluid. I mean, all of a sudden it could happen tomorrow. We have no idea, okay? We don't know. So what we will likely experience. This is all based on my screenplay, Death of the Shadow Scripts, Rise of the Sun Councils. I hope you enjoy this. This is really exciting. This is a big part of my film. It's like the big climatic, center part of the story. So this is all just my screenplay, being very creative. Take what resonates and leave the rest, okay? So what we will likely experience around September 23rd to the 24th is strangeness in the sky, heightened dreams, and deja vu. It's the first signal of the veil bending, okay? Then around October 30th, a crest of intensity, clarity, and I'm going to explain why. Okay? Clarity, disruption, emotional surges. The split in the light becomes more obvious. And then late October, November is Lemmon's green hue rises. It actually is green. People begin sensing not just endings, but new vitality and new possibility. And then after that, we move toward the flash, the ignition moment, the flooding of light and the collapse of the loop. Yes. Okay, so the comets are not random rocks. They are signposts. Atlas, Swan, and Lemmon, each one is part of a story of breaking free, of clarifying vision, and a renewal, and finally of ignition. So watch the sky and feel what shifts inside of you, because the comets are not just up there, they're also in here. They're in us. They're in our hearts, in our bodies, in our awakening, in our soul field. So their powers depend on narrative. Oh, we're talking about another thing there. So I also want to tell you that in another transmission, Aurea did talk about Atlas is, because it's coming from another solar system, a whole nother place far away, it's actually bringing consciousness from other star beings. And so it's not just a mass of ice and gas and all that. There's actually a little bit difference with it. And they even feel like it's maybe steering and all that stuff. And maybe all of these comets are that. I don't know. So we're calling them, NASA's calling them comets, but there may be more to it, but it's nothing to be afraid of. It's literally like the universe helping us, kind of helping. They can't just do everything at once. Like they can't just go bam, like turn the lights on or like whatever. Because a lot of people aren't grounded. A lot of people don't know how to, their nervous systems, we would just like fall apart. We'd have heart attacks, or we would go crazy, or, insane, literally. So we have to know how to ground things that seem out of this world, things that we are like, what? And like that make you question the origin of all things that we've been taught. So things like this have to come in waves, and they have to come like, give you a little bit more, and then your nervous system adjusts, then give you a little bit more and your nervous system adjusts. So I think that's part of what the comments are as well, is just sort of like letting it come in ripples. And so we have little awakenings and adjust. But the October 30th timeline, and I'm going to make that in my next video, the October 30th window of time, there's 3 things happening. But if it's sort of like a preview for the flash. It's a very important date. And if we don't have enough people that are grounded during the October 30th, during that time, then it's going to create all these different kinds of versions of the flash. Number 1, it could be a very destabilizing flash, which would take many, many years to heal from and recover from. It could be like a very chaotic, just disruptive event, as opposed to a smooth event that would be beautiful and everybody, harmonizes with it. Or it could delay the event by years, the flash event, okay? We don't want that. I don't want that. You don't want that. So I asked Aurea and my guides, I said, give me a list of what we can do so we can get this out to as many people as possible, so we're all on the same ship, boat, whatever. So I'll have that in my next video about October 30th. But just know that these 3 comets, they're messengers, and they're signs from the universe that the Flash is on its way. And they're sending signals. There's a lot of disruption going on right now because you have this synthetic loop of it's not really reality, because nobody can bend reality except for God, but it's like the perception of reality. They've stretched the fake thing as far as they can, and that's why it's starting to break. And we're starting to see the seams in their theatrics. We're starting to see through it. We're seeing everything just looks so stupid right now. We're just like, that's so obvious. You were just, what they're doing with like a podcaster is so obvious that they're just trying to incite people. They're trying to, and so many of us see it for what it is. So many of us. And that's more than usual. Think about how we were like, 20 years ago. We wouldn't have been this just completely calm going, wow, look at this. This is crazy. I can't believe they're trying to I can't believe they're trying to make this out to be a thing. So because we're seeing through it, we're actually helping, if we get caught up in fear, confusion, chaos, rage, like just that energy, that feeds to the Flash getting pushed. So I just want to let you know that if you're watching this and you're one of the people that watches my videos and you want the Flash to come, you can't be like all spiraling in fear and chaos inside of yourself and then just want the Flash. That's been the repeating theme ever since November, which is no one's coming to save us. We have to save ourselves. And that even includes the Flash. The Flash is going to happen regardless. It's just going to happen. But it could be very, very disruptive and in a long time away, or it could be really awesome and beautiful and closer up. And that depends on how grounded we are. And so I'm going to start teaching you guys some things we can do with crystals and meditations and getting ready for October 30th, but also just forever, because it's good to just be grounded. And I can pick up on the energy of you guys reading your comments. I feel your energy as I read your comments. And a lot of you are not grounded. A lot of you are going from video to video, and it's like you're trying to find something to stabilize you. You're trying to find something that feels like truth or grounding. And I know, because I've done the same thing. And I wouldn't say I'm doing it right now, but I have done the same thing where I just go from like I have my people that I watch. I have my list of people that I love watching, and it makes me feel better when I see them. And I love that. And I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about make sure you are taking care of you, though. Like, get away from your phone, meditate, go for a walk, like really invest in your own, like learning how to take care of yourself during this chaotic time. Not later when it's mellow, right now. This is like the Olympics of meditation. If Olympics were a sport in the if I'm all tired. If meditation were a sport in the Olympics, okay? Right now, this is when you're going to get your gold medal if you can do it. This is like really hard, because it's like, how can I be calm right now? The whole world, that's when you have to be calm. That's exactly when you have to do it, is when things are really kookaroo. Otherwise, you're just adding to it. And I won't get into the real deep stuff I found out about how they harvest this energy from us of fear and chaos. But just for your own health, you want to be here after when we rebuild, when we're rebuilding with councils and stuff. You want to be healthy. You want to have a good heart. You don't want to have like nervous system breakdowns and problems, do you? This is going to, even when we get them out, it's going to take some time to clean things up and rebuild some stuff. So we need you for the long run, okay? This isn't a sprint. This is a marathon. And like I said, I'll be going through some meditation techniques, some chanting, some breathing, and some crystals. I'm actually going to go get a black obsidian. Is that how you say it? The black one. So I'm excited. But anyways, we'll talk about that in the next video, and I'll see you then.